defense is going to be easier for those players to find a home, find a ground that they can use to make big plays or what have you. So DPlus starting on this side, if we see players like Coded or Woogieman putting up good numbers, well, DPlus might very well win the half. But if they're starting slow on the defenses, it's only going to get a little harder on the attack. So DPlus right now channeling that individual skill against a 5-man roster that is far more than the sum of their parts. Against VP, making sure you run up these defenses early on, but also allow your star fraggers to not feel restricted by the VP vice grip. That's going to be the key to winning.
Yeah. Trying to avoid the triangle choke as much as possible, but easier said than done up against a squad like Virtus Pro, a team that is adamant about playing their strategy, making minor adjustments, and taking it to the house. We've seen it time and time again. Won some very big events playing like this, runner-up, and other things as well. Most of the ban phase here now, making quite a bit of sense when it comes to Chalet, Habana especially here, trying to get rid of some of that longer range hard breach. More than likely might be leaning into something like some mirror gameplay or something along those lines. We'll just have to see. That is part of DPlus's bans here, at least for the offensive side. Also going to throw Frost in the mix too, something that we don't usually see banned out, but I mean, you can tell why on a map like Chalet. There's a lot of window play that goes on, so just don't really want to concern themselves with looking down. I
mean, I would argue this is probably one of Frost's stronger maps. I mean, with how small it is, Frost, in terms of the utility she brings, is really applicable to this map. For the windows that you set as well, for example, clearing out the top floor on a bar games defense, two of the key entry points are window hop-ins, the Heaven window and the Library window, single or double for that matter. So getting rid of those Frost mats, or even for the Mudroom window down below, is key. But she also brings a deployable shield, which is one of the biggest pieces of utility on any map, but on Chalet in particular, since so much of it revolves around clearing or forcing the attack to clear power positions on this map. Ironically enough, it's one of the most important, but DPlus Kia aren't running a single deployable shield at the moment, but it reflects the mentality of this team. They run a very simple setup, as Fox said, but like to play around it. So what do we have? Yas on the Solus, Woogieman on the Valkyrie, Coded, of course, on the hard support, but they're bringing ops that are far more flexible and far more mobile.
Yep, absolutely. Yas already getting a lot done on this roam clear, or this drone clear rather, as well. So he was able to get 2 drones there. I thought it was 3 for a split second, but so we did have one more that was able to slip through the cracks. But still a consideration here early. Obviously does beg the question on how much info Virtus Pro did get off of those. Seems like Yas does want to try and keep things alive downstairs, at least for the time being, and keep things open as to what the strategy can be later on into the round. Virtus Pro made a couple adjustments here in their offensive lineup, but they finally rested in a pretty safe and secure space, especially for Joystick here on this Finca. I also like the fact that we have the Grim coming in here on Shepard. We've been seeing the increasing play of Grim across the board. Obviously, we're a little biased when it comes to this because we watch Dark Zero play a lot, but Grim finally, finding a safe spot in the meta here for professional play.
Yeah, those adjustments really went a long way. I mean, he was probably the laughing stock of an operator, the most laughing stock of an operator. And they just make even the one change. Before they could bounce the one change, you already brought them pretty far into the meta, and the bounce only helped. Here's VP, I think, doing exactly what we expected. They like their solar takes as opposed to the library overtakes, despite the small space you're working with. But it's representative of Chalet as well. You need to throw these nades, cook them, throw them at a certain time, and along with the bees as well, they know Harper's playing on the solar stairs, the grenade lands. Easy opening pick for Virtus Pro. They basically have not had to deviate from their strategy even a single bit in the first half of the round, and there's no response from DPlus.
Yep. That right there, one of the most difficult reasons as to why Trophy Stairs is so volatile for these defenders. And you might be able to stack up some ADSs and such, but if a team has good clearing like we just saw, 3 stuns in, 3 nades down, then you're more than likely going to end up losing your life, especially with that Grim applying pressure from down low. They have that info on your swing too.
Yep.
Nice little shot there, but Coded's going to take some damage. It's actually Soldier to deliver the killing blow to Dan.
Honestly, that's just probably good prep work from DPlus. Dan always plays outside of that bathroom window when they're attacking Chalet, so one easy free fire, you take it down. They also know that the solar side is a huge focus for Virtus Pro. When you're attacking Master Bedroom in office, you need to repel in at some point. It is a necessity, so always will have to go down below, and just spots Woogieman retaking the position that Harper died in earlier. Good use of the bees and good use of the coordination, and now Joystick can likely repel in, having cleared off the single panel in Bedroom. Maybe confirm the kill, but doesn't matter. Coded decides to swing. Joystick cuts him down. 4v2 effectively now officially for Virtus Pro.
DPlus so very concerned with keeping somebody on that stairwell, and honestly it begs a question as to why Virtus Pro had so much control over that, especially the verticality coming through, and it's just going to allow Joystick to finally take that space. All the window repel angles coming through too. A stellar round from Virtus Pro. I just don't think that DPlus had the right idea on how to deal with that solar take.
No, I mean, they did have some ideas. I think, obviously, it's very common for players to be on the bathroom window in general, but Dan taking that position, always playing a bit more passively behind the window. It was just a good pre-fire, like with some luck, thankfully, from that Lesion. But overall, Wookieeman trying to retake that position, you definitely have to question a little bit with the presence of the bees, even though the nades are gone. If they've already opened up a hole from below as well, Wookieeman taking a big risk.
No ADSs, you're just
exactly.
asking to die.
Yeah, and even then, always just rotates down below, shoots him. It was a very risky call that VP, when you take maybe too deep of a risk against them, they're going to counter you. So good job for VP, good showing in that first round. And now we move over to the Bar and Games bomb site as a follow-up, as VP in the first round pretty much got everything they wanted.
Yeah. So we'll chalk that up to DPlus trying to get a little loosey-goosey there, right? It can work out, but you try high-flying antics up against the Virtus Pro, that's usually how it goes. They're very adamant about keeping these angles shut down. You know, runouts are a major thing in this game, and Virtus Pro has always been fantastic at shutting up those as well. So see if DPlus can go back to the drawing board. They don't want to try and take the same site this time, and so they're going to go downstairs and try and get things solved on Games and Bar.
Do have Soldier on that mirror. Of course, without the Azami, holding the upstairs library position will be a bit more difficult, but the mirror can make it a bit better. C4 prep from Wookieeman, waiting to hear VP move through onto those solar windows. Again, there's such a focal point for every attack, and Wookieeman exploits it perfectly. 5v4 now achieved for DPlus. Wookieeman can now back off to the bomb site pretty safely. Join the rest of the defenders over outside of library.
They'll take their time here. Great pick onto Joystick, and this is going to be a huge boon for them. We saw the entry game from him last time, although it was just the one kill. Definitely made matters most. Opened up the gates for them to try and force that plant down. DPlus gonna be happy with this one. Stuns in here from Always is begin to wrap around this top floor. You can see somewhat of an extension here from DPlus. We have quite a few bodies over towards the Master side playing on different levels. It's gonna be Pasha to try and deliver something here over on the Master end of things. Nice little flick onto Wookieeman will claim his life, but Pasha taking quite a bit of damage in turn.
VP have at least clawed the man count back, taking control of the Master bedroom and office side. But again, when they go for that solar take, when they move from the north to the south, it delays the time to deal with that Wamai playing over by the library stairs. So now Shepard will rotate, make his way forward. A very slow round. I mean, not shocking for Virtus Pro, but still, you gotta be careful. Just to make sure you don't lose your life.
Indeed. This is the danger of Virtus Pro. So we always talk about. They're slow rolling, patient play, boils up to an execute, and will immediately destroy anyone on their path. Including DPlus Kia here. After losing Coded especially, this is going to get quite risky. Still have some bees in the pockets of Shepard, so we'll be able to battle back against the defense here, try and box them out of their own site. More than likely looking for a game's window plant, but they really don't have the verticality on this just yet. And actually, go back on that statement, as you can see those two bodies up top, just to know where we had our third member here for DPlus. They've actually given up the entirety of that library area, just trying to keep themselves alive and see if there's any outplay potential with some of these guns.
Yas might be the person to outplay with that player inside a dining, or sitting inside a dining. Of course, there's somebody on the fireplace door, but a great pre-fire from Always anticipates that very position. Now it's just the players in the bomb side. Virtus Pro hollow it out completely. DPlus Kia. As Harper tries to go for the retake, there's simply too much work done in those final 10-15 seconds from VP.
And that might be the most Virtus Pro round that you could possibly write up, right? Insanity right there. Have Joystick be a little active. Yeah, he's going to get picked off, but Virtus Pro just play the patience game. Use their drone work, find these weak points of DPlus Kia, and exploit them to their fullest potential. I really especially like the fact that they were able to get library control there in good timing and transition that into a lot of vertical control. It made it where DPlus had to practically escape hatch the site. They're playing things over on the blue stairs. They're playing downstairs. stairs, even some player, I mean, really the only one that's in the same vicinity playing all the way in back stock, but that is such a well-known quantity when it comes to the site.
3 players from VP going into round 3 that have not died yet. One of them being Pasha, of course, on that entry that we saw open up round number 2, but then as well, always 4-0 at the moment on that sort of flank watch lurk roll, holding things down and keeping angles completely cut off. Honestly, for VP and how they like to play, if you want any player to be 4-0 to not have died a single time, you want to be that guy who's shutting down important positions and cutting off important rotations.
And that's Chalet for you, right? Chalet is all about having those harsh cutoffs and making it to where the rotations that are coming through from the defense don't work out. And always has been there time and time again. Even on that run out that I believe we saw from Soldier, he was even able to eclipse that when he dashed out the front door. So Virtus Pro, for all intents and purposes, making mincemeat of DPlus Kia right now. We need to see some adjustments here, but speaking of adjustments, we're not going to adjust the thing that I was caring about the most last time, huh?
No, I mean, you got the magnets, you got the ADSs, but this utility clear from VP, they have 4 frag grenades, 6 flashes, and all of those Bs from Grim as well. Plus, Dan can even open up the floorboards down below to identify a different angle. What is he looking for right now?
I think he was looking for something above the window, potentially.
Maybe.
You know, we do have Fenrir in play, so you can bring some of those dread mines. I'd be looking for something along those lines. Also, just a good little notate there for you sledge players. If you can get high enough and close enough to a ceiling, you can smack things.
On that car as well.
And here we go. Frag grenade out, everything getting burnt out, the Bs in as well, and probably a follow-up nade too from Joystick. He's going to move up into the Bs actually here. See how this works out. The one here is going to be Harper taking quite a bit of damage, but the ADS turns back on just in time. Much more solid round for this position from DPlus. All up to Yaz, really, and those dishes coming in to be able to assist Harper.
Yeah, I think Dan had the right timing there, at least for when to throw the nade, but the flashes, simply the projectile denial utility just being too numerous, unanticipated for VP. Though DPlus Kia do sacrifice a Valkyrie cam outside, so I suppose they can appreciate that, but the entrance onto Solar Stairs will not be as easy, nor as, I guess you could say, quick, but it will not come at the same time it did before. Joystick even rotating over the library side, cut down by Soldier the moment he hops in through that single window. This is looking like DPlus Kia's round.
Yeah, this is looking a lot more like the strategy that was supposed to go off the last time, right? Just this time they had the proper utility in place on Solarium Stairs to lock things up, so it ended up going very, very well here. Had that in play over on the far side too, just to make things a little bit more difficult for Virtus Pro to try and swing in on Library, although always will increase his score line to 5-0. Gonna get that pickup here, and that's going to allow Virtus Pro to start working things from the Library side, although it's going to require a lot of heavy lifting. They don't have any hard breach or anything of the sort, so they're going to have to try and funnel in and take out these players.
But always 6-0 now, gets a huge pick, and if he finds Coded as well, which he just sees for a split second as he opens the barricade, they might just open up this round alongside acquiring a 4v2. Coded sees the Lion, cuts him down. That's a big fight that Coded needed to win. Now with 20 seconds left and 1 toxic canister remaining, he can hold down this piano position for quite a long time. DPlus can't need to worry about the bathroom window, and well, with Dan being the only one left, there's no teammates to rely on. He's got to hop in through piano and find 2 different players, and he's got no intel for any of them. Woogieman's even retreated down below for the ultimate security that DPlus Kia will take their first defense in round 3.
That was a great read. Love the adjustment there for the Wamai coming in to provide even more utility to try and hold down the Solarium Stairs, and it was desperately needed. If they didn't have that, that round was more than likely going the same way as the last one. And to even take it a step further, they have Soldier all the way over in the Library for when that play comes through for Virtus Pro. They know they have to make an adjustment. Nobody's just going to, swing into Solarium completely blind. It's not really going to assist them with anything. It'll just be giving bodies over. So they have to try and make an adjustment. Obviously, Joystick tries to do that, but right here, Soldier heading things off in a very important moment there, and also getting some pretty solid damage onto Always. Virtus Pro did have just a chance here to try and work things in, but with the map positioning, things are always going to be hard with a situation like this. Just don't have the ability to breach anything open, have to take some pretty important gunfights in some pretty known areas.
And after, of course, the addition of the magnets, what really won DPlus Kia that round were the rotations, the mobility from the defenders. Soldier inside a library and Woogieman flanking up the fireplace stairs. That's when DPlus Kia are at their best. What they're able to do is hit rotations, hit flanks around the map that are either unaccounted for by the attack, or they just simply take a fight that is more advantageous for them. So if they can continue to channel that as we move on to kitchen and dining, which will feature a lot of the same prospects that we saw in a master bedroom office defense, as well 3 defenders are probably going to be sitting inside a master bedroom office for the vast majority of the round. If DPlus Kia can still maintain control of the library stairs or lower portions of the library stairs, the fireplace stairs, and even the solar stairs, in this case, if they can make it work, they'll be in good shape in round 4.
And that's the hilarious part about this site is you can't address it in the same way. And what do you think Virtus Pro's going to do?
Probably trying to brute force a bit more of that utility, or make sure the 3-2-1 countdown is a bit better. But they've only got 1 set of nades this time, so if that's what they want to go for, it'll be a bit tighter.
It seems like we might have potential West main play that could come through a little bit later on if they do want to try and address that, but obviously that's right next door to site too, so kind of begs the question as to how that interaction could go down. But either way, Virtus Pro starting off on this north side yet again here. We'll see if they do have an answer for this. They have a lot of throwable utility again, but we saw how that went the last time. Oh, always! They brought the Twitch and they got rid of all of the ADSs. He didn't hit a single shot on that drone. Only 1 bullet required to break that damn thing, but he can't get it done.
And I suppose you can afford a reduction in grenades if you pressure them from below and throw the nade from up above, but that's not the opening pick going the way of Virtus Pro. Coded able to take down Pasha just at the exact same time, but in terms of map control acquired, VP still very much happy with that clear. They might have lost the Nomad, but their initial win condition for the early round is clearing out solar stairs and then the ability to rappel in later. They'll need a bit more time, 15-20 seconds to clear out that single panel on the solar side, specifically Yas in this position, but once they achieve that, they'll feel happy with this.
Oh, yes. A little worrisome there. Sick. Gonna flood in from Solarium, but they know that he's got to be in this bathtub, and yes, indeed, the yellow mark coming through always has found Soldier, and this is going from bad to worse here, Carter. Joystick going to confirm it yet again, but look at the patience here. Dan still working the outside area. Woogie Man gonna be able to take down Joystick, actually, so DPlus Kia will be able to stave off this round just a little while longer. It's really up to Yas to try and keep this as kosher as he can, but it's actually Yas in that position. He coded down low here, trying to assist Woogie Man as well. What a shot out of Shepard. Truly disgusting. And again, Virtus Pro with this drone work, man. You never think that it's truly there, and then they switch and there's a yellow ping.
Ridiculous stuff so far on Coded now in the 1v3, but he does have a long angle behind the dining bomb onto the bottom of Solar Stairs. He actually rotates out, going for a flank up to the top floor, knows that the attack is low on time to move for this diffuser, so if there's just one guy maybe holding the top floor, if he wins that fight, it could work, but the indecision striking at a crucial moment allows VP to get that bomb down. Now he basically gets half of both plays, nothing accomplished whatsoever. Now as he drops back down, the indecision, the second choice to move back down, VP are entirely set up in their post-plant positions, some even outside the building. It is unwinnable for Coded at this point. The moment has passed. And what is he to do but just watch the clock slowly tick down in front of him?
Great considerations here from Virtus Pro, and just goes to show you guys that you don't have to overcomplicate things to find a solution. Sometimes it's as simple as getting a Twitch drone in there and striking the ADSs.
Bobbing and weaving.
Yep, that was it. Nice movement with the drone mechanics, and they're able to clear out all of those ADSs without throwing a single piece of utility at all. So very impressive stuff there from Virtus Pro. It's going to proc the DPlus Kia timeout because these defenses haven't been going the way that they've wanted to. They've been trying so hard to thwart Virtus Pro's game plan over on Solarium's side, and they were eventually able to do it with the consistency of Jaeger and Wamai, but that last round, a highlight reel for Virtus Pro on their ability to go for a very similar strategy that adjusts something slightly, maybe an operator lineup, maybe a position on a window, and they'll be able to find a solution.
And this is always the issue when you're fighting Virtus Pro is DPlus Kia have understood, well, they go for a solar take, and if we can waste sufficient time on the solar stairs by placing those ADSs, placing those magnets, and just spending, you know, a minute 30, minute 45, forcing them to clear us, we should be able to win, right?
Yep.
But VP just practice a take so often that they know the adjustments they need to make pretty much immediately. They can identify the problems that are put in front of them very quickly as well. And all it requires is, as you said, minimal adjustments. And maybe a guy on a window here, the addition of an operator there. They're so well practiced on these takes that even though DPlus Kia have the right idea, because of the lead achieved by VP at the start as well, able to win that first clear of the solar side, it's now DPlus Kia on the back foot and VP constantly leading the adaptations, even when DPlus Kia have the right idea.
Yeah, it's truly impressive stuff and something that we've all talked ad nauseum about over the years about Virtus Pro, but again, just goes to show you how unbelievably talented these guys are. And just to put the icing on the metaphorical cake that you made right there, their drone matrix to this day is one of the most mind-boggling things to me, because that first minute and a half, they're somewhat active, there's some players doing things, but all of a sudden, you just have these drones in these perfect pivotal positions, Carter, where people that are dead, maybe somebody that needs to be active for a moment, can just jump on, fly through a couple cameras, and they know practically the entire setup for DPlus Kia. And DPlus hasn't really been able to find any of these drones. They've been sneaking through the cracks, especially in the trophy area like we saw in that last round. It's been very well managed from Virtus Pro so far.
We do have, I believe, the addition of the Woogie Man on the Fenrir.
I like the Woogie Man.
The Woogie Man. There's some events where he has been the Woogie Man. But with those F-Knots, of course, trying to stop Virtus Pro from walking in through those choke points, through those single doorways. But Dan bringing that Twitch, brought it last round as the adaptation for the Solar Stairs taken. He'll be more than comfortable to try and identify those Dread Mines that are unlocked, be able to shock them and deny Woogie Man some useful codes for rotating what Dread Mines are activated at any given time. Both him and Yas on the roam currently. Woogie Man trying to rotate back after a minute in, just barely makes it forward, as now he'll switch the F-Knots to the more interior ones.
That's the craziest thing about this character, right? 5 of those knots, able to toss those things down and essentially make your own fallback strategies, where certain areas are much more difficult to try and clear. Joystick, can't get rid of that one just yet because it is closed up and obviously doesn't want to use a frag grenade for that. Probably be the least value that you could get out of that in the current situation. B's out for Shepard, as those things will get soaked up by a couple of discs from Harbor, and that's also the beauty of Grim. He's got 5 of those beehives, and it's so good for clearing out pivotal positions like what we see for Harbor here on the blue stairs.
I think the one issue you can say for VP so far is the addition of that Wamai. Constantly seems to be catching them off guard. The ADSs are no problem, but the Gone 6, for example, the frag grenades in the previous round, always one key piece of utility seems to get sucked up by those magnets. So the utility clear is almost perfect from VP, but it usually ends up costing them some important utility. But they have managed to clear this shield, and there are still some flashes to make this gunfight on Library Stairs easier. Yas picks up his first kill to make it a 4v4, and Pasha now looks to make it a 4v3, but the defenders retreat down Library Stairs far too quickly for Pasha to get a handle on, but VP has acquired library control.
No hard breach for Virtus Pro, and the hatch is sealed up top, so more than likely just going to get Shepard in position and maybe breaching charge a few different areas around this, add some verticality into the mix, and then see what they can potentially get done past that. This is going to require a little heavy lifting in the gun department, folks, so look for Virtus Pro to try and find their entry points.
And also with no flashes as well, the only real thing they have to make these gunfights a bit more in the favor of Virtus Pro is that one singular shot in Shepard's launcher, and it goes out. Will it find intel on any of these defenders? Joystick knows someone will probably flank up the fireplace stairs. Will somebody watch it? Will they just try to hollow out the bomb site? They don't anticipate the stock position. Woogie Man start things off right. Yas with the flank. Yas with a triple in the round so far. An easy pickup for DPlus Kia as VP unfortunately succumbing to the downsides of a very late clear.
Yes, indeed. And I love that you highlighted the fact that Wamai has been giving them so much grief, because that's exactly what happened. We saw the extended hold there from Fenrir. Fenrir plays out his timing over there on the Solarium side because, let's be honest, we all know where this attack is coming from.
Yes, we do.
And he slowly falls back, kind of uses his knots in a certain way to where Virtus Pro have to respect the pressure. They eventually figure out that that setup on the top floor is somewhat manageable for them, but with the addition of the magnets, especially later on, and this is the big brain thing, guys, this is the one thing about Wamai. If you pocket your discs in the proper way and manage them around their stuns and wait for the explosives, you can really give people some problems, and that's exactly what we saw. He's applying those discs a little bit later after those stuns pour in, and I mean, yeah, I might not be able to see, but I'm not getting blown up. So great individual play from the Wamai specifically in that round. I believe Coded in the
the previous round was the one handling that Wamai, though it's shifted roles a couple times so far. But also DPlus Kia having Woogieman and Yas able to have success on the roam. Yas in particular to flank up Fireplace Stairs, backstab the attack as they push into the bomb site. They put up some solid rounds so far, and Chalet typically being that attacker-sided map. Even though DPlus Kia are the top defensive team so far, if they can get a 3-3 half here and try and get that win condition they have, well, achieved in the 2 rounds they've won so far, a 3-3 half is more than enough. Well, I won't say more than enough, but it certainly will at least be good going into the side spot.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, when it comes to Chalet, having 2 defensive rounds, you've already crossed the bridge. You're happy with this result here. As long as their offenses are put together, that's what you really have to be concerned with, right? As for Virtus Pro, though, they're really going to want this 4th round. If this ends up getting tied, then we can start seeing some awkward situations building up here where maybe the analyst desk is breaking down how DPlus Kia was able to take it to Virtus Pro on this map.
He's getting the default cam.
Interesting.
That's what he's getting when he opens up that hole. Track Sting is also now going out. This is a new addition to Virtus Pro's clear on this part of the map. No Wamai, unfortunately, for DPlus Kia. They've given it up, so just those ADSs to clear. This should make things easier for Virtus Pro as the bees fly out. The nade lands on Harper. I mean, we had the adaptation, guys. We had the addition of the magnets. Sure, you could deny the drone economy and switch Yas off the Wamai, but I mean, they just made it easier.
They went mad old-timey with this strategy here. This is what we were doing at the very beginning of Chalet. We were taking laser gates, applying them to the Solarium windows, and having Jaeger play down low. But you can see why that becomes an issue, because the laser gates take so long to reset. If VP are good in timing, then you're immediately going to run into some issues, and that's what we see here, as they're going to lose Harper for the 2nd or 3rd time in that position. Woogieman is a known quantity here, folks. If you guys didn't see that drone roll through on him. Looks like Posh is just going to play things patiently, but sometimes players hit some crazy shots in moments like this. Joystick's going to swing in with an Adrenal Surge. I don't think he's going to get too much damage off onto that player. In fact, he's going to go down to a Nitro Cell up top. More than likely just waiting for that Adrenal Surge to come back so he can res himself.
Dan is so lethal in these positions. He knows when to watch the bathroom window, knows when to watch the library window as well. He's already cut down 1 player there, and 2 different foes are looking to take an engagement with him, and Dan just doesn't seem bothered by it whatsoever. He's more than happy to walk this line. No C4s down below as Woogieman's used it, so Shepard can very likely get this bomb down. Pasha's patient coverage of the trophy window finally bears fruit, as Woogieman, equally patient down below, is unfortunately a little less lucky. Another kill flies the way of the flank watch down outside of the trophy window, and has domed by Dan. A clinical execute from Virtus Pro, as the one thing that was tripping them up wasn't even present this time.
This is a pretty lean steak here. No fat on this, man. And that's what I love so much about Virtus Pro, Carter. The fact that they take what is necessary and nothing more, nothing less. It's beautiful every time I see it. And honestly, to this day, still one of my favorite teams to watch when it comes to Rainbow Six Siege, because they will teach you how to play this game just in the way they play. Their patience, their cadence, everything about it dictates victory, and it's pretty impressive stuff. But now, this is where the rubber hits the road, folks. We're switching sides here. DPlus Kia got what was necessary. 2 defensive rounds, but this could be a whole different tale of the tape by the end of this, depending on how their offensive set goes.
Will it be as coordinated as VPs? Will they be able to acquire, prioritize, have control?
Coded was just flirting a little too hard, wasn't he?
He was. That's sometimes the issue with trying to get aggressive on those windows, whether you're going against VP or not. Is that... I mean...
They're just nasty, man. That's the other thing about this team. You're like, oh, well, they're just kind of standing there. And it's like, well, yeah, try and peek them.
It's
see what happens.
it's a rough go at it. For DPlus Kia, though, as they move on to the attacking side, will they prioritize Solar or will they prioritize the library office side? I can see the Pasha on the dock, and normally when you see that, it's going to be a pretty solid library hold, but actually, it's always in this position. Normally when you see the dock, they play this spawn, especially if there's a Capital on the board, which they don't necessarily know, but to see the Fenrir there, that's a bit of a utility exposed in a dangerous position.
I will wholeheartedly agree with you on this. I mean, you and I casted the game where I'm pretty sure we saw Nip completely thwart the game plan of the offense simply by stim pistoling through all of the damage that was pouring over onto that position. But doesn't mean that it can't work, just means that Doc more than likely might have some awkward moments approaching soon. Could also, I guess, just use Pasha at range if he wants to step up. They can just Doc always that way, but yeah, you're risking things a little bit, aren't you?
You are. The angle's a lot different. a little bit riskier. We'll see how it pans out for VP. Always already looking to give up the hatch, though. Tries to take a gunfight outside of the single window. Coda taking a little bit of damage from wherever that was from, but here go the firebolts. So basically just force always off once these land, or once these magnets are cleared more specifically. But some are caught, actually. One flashbang goes out. No bolts taken down just yet. But will they land in the proper spots? Another magnet sent out. Firebolt prepped. There it goes, and Force is always out, but he's just threading the needle for the moment and finally drops back. So no dock there, but a minute and a half wasted. That's still pretty good.
And Pasha still, I mean, was able to dock him. So he gets stim pistoled one time before he gets downstairs, so he'll have essentially full HP. Be nice for him. No. Well, DPlus just able to clear things out up top. Let's see if they can try and convert this into some verticality. But the big issue now is that Virtus Pro still do have two bodies in this area. They have that player over here on the balcony, Pasha, as well as Joystick that's been holding things down here inside of the library entrance. And it's given DPlus Kia so many issues. Yeah, you're able to clear out the Fenrir, but now they have to try and essentially send it into sight.
With not a lot of utility as well. Actually, I mean,
they have a lot of utility, but it's like...
No. So yeah,
no positioning. That's the key thing.
Yes, that's a better way to phrase it. A lot of flashbangs, a lot of smokes, but with no solid control acquired. Yas just has to lurk up short, but finds his way into the bomb site.
This might work.
Yep, he sees him sitting inside his stock. That's opening pick going the way of DPlus Kia. Now the alarm bell's ringing in Virtus Pro's head. 5v3, 5v2 as Yas finishes off Shepard. Virtus Pro a little bit thrown for a loop. Dan goes for a big retake though, but Yas, the big player in round 7 to shut this down completely. Pasha alone on the top floor at this point. Got to go for the retake. Pre-aims the prone angle. Impressive stuff, but can't take down the player hopping out of the double window down below in bar. This is a bit workable. Coda and Yas, both on low HP, but the main player is going to fight his Harper on full, but down he goes. Now it's way easier for Pasha. Just a couple bullets in each remaining attacker should be the end of him. Yas makes a big rotation up to that top floor, and Pasha responds. Feels there might be an isolated 1v1 up here, but the time is ticking low. He's got to get both of these kills in rapid succession, and it seems like that's just not going to happen. He might be stat padding at this point, and Yas certainly is. 4K in round 7 to give DPlus Kia their first attack.
Honestly, a great round there from DPlus Kia. Obviously, the top floor take not going the way that they wanted it to, but still adamant in their ability to clear out the site. And I think that that's the big oversight there by Virtus Pro. You're able to thwart things for 2 minutes on that top floor, but then you seemingly don't really understand that DPlus Kia are going to have to go for something eventually. Everyone's just kind of managing things around games, seeing if DPlus is going to try and hop in there. But Yas simply walks in the bar door. There's nothing more, nothing less to it. He just walks right in and kills Fenrir at the back of the site. Not only that, but he also takes down Shepard. That's two huge players. He's carved out the entire thing all by himself, able to also gatekeep as well. A quad for him on the round, and one that Yas will most definitely be happy about.
Yeah, VP not known for leaving gaps on their defenses, but that timing with the Fenrir just tucking himself in the corner gave Yas the perfect opportunity to now be the only positive player in terms of KD on DPlus Kia. 7-5 now. I imagine VP try to make sure they don't leave that same gap again. Different bomb site, of course, moving down to the basement position, and one where there usually are some built-in gaps because you need to hold that middle floor and not necessarily put all the way up to the top floor, but contest map control a little bit more because of how much soft destruction is available to the attack, but also the importance if the attack is going wide side of the dining hatch into what angles you can cover and what plant spots are then available to you. You need to waste some time for the attack as they move their clear in from no matter what side they go.
Absolutely. Obviously, VP were quite successful that the last time. It was just their inability to play the gates of the site. Not really thinking that DPlus Kia was going to so quickly change gears and totally caught them off guard. But as we know with Virtus Pro, you usually only get about one of those, right? This Nitro Cell making Carter sweat right now, folks. I wish you could see his face.
I'm literally watching him. He's like min-maxing the lineup right now. Just moving a little bit, a little down, a little up.
Virtus Pro can keep things patient for now. Don't want to overstep their boundaries. And why would you? DPlus Kia have been moving quite slow so far on their offensive set, but just using good drone works. And that's usually a telltale sign of that when you don't see too many active players. But it's going to get a good read onto Joystick. He hasn't been having too big of a game, but Chalet's pretty hard when it comes to entry. A lot of the angle players making the most out of the situation, as you can see, always in Pasha as well as Dan having some big moments here. Pasha, obviously less of an angle holder than always and Dan, but it doesn't really matter. Joystick going to fall to the sword again, as Yas will take him down. We'll have trophy control now.
A lot of drones used on that clear, though. And we had the flank drone watching Joystick the entire time, but quite a few more wasted actively droning him. Pasha then retakes the position, cutting down Coded, who is moving up through the short hallway. And as he rotates, excellent cutoff by Woogieman. Reacts in time to make sure he can't move back down to the bomb site. And trophy control, after another brief skirmish, reestablished for DPlus Kia.
Solid clearance here. Be able to take down Pasha and Joystick. Virtus.pro.
Oh, he's still here.
Still solid control over the entirety of this site, and indeed, huge rotation there that could be made for Always, as he's just been waiting adamantly up in Library.
Only one drone left.
Oh.
DPlus Kia can't clear him. Soldier just tries to wide swing the pillar, but Dan's got so much cover to play behind. Shepard then cuts down Harper. DPlus Kia just sending it with 40 seconds left, and they'll pay for it dearly. Woogieman knows he's got to win the fight with the player in blue, and he'll do so completely, but Always is still on this roam. He might hit the flank later on. Indeed, slowly creeping up blue. Yas has made his way in, but he anticipates it. Flash goes out to try to burn time, but this bomb needs to start going down with Yas, the only one who can cover. Solely watching Library at the moment, but Dan pushing up from Garage. He doesn't even win the fight with the Mira, but Woogieman recovers very quickly, but there's no time remaining to put this bomb on the floor. Virtus.pro reestablish their lead.
Got a little scary there for Always. The rotation almost didn't work out for him, but honestly, not a hater of it. Comes back down towards blue. Could have went for the full rotation, but when you're Mira, or really any 3 armor on the roam, you're going to be a known quantity trying to hit that rotation from the back. So probably a smarter decision to try and reinsert himself into the site and help things on the more frontal assault. Virtus.pro will pick up a round here and extend their lead back to 2. Right on the gates of the penultimate point. They're going to head towards Kitchen. So far, so good for them. DPlus Kia, obviously, with solid clearance of the site after being thwarted in round 8, or rather round 7, but round 8 goes the way of VP.
Indeed it does. Maybe getting a little too ahead of themselves as well. They're obviously starting to get low on time, but just sending it in. No utility to deal with the player on pillar. They just feed themselves to the bodies of Virtus.pro. Kitchen Dining will be a similar affair if they end up being denied control of the top floor or have it at least contested. They just send it to that dining wall. Similar situation. There's too many angles for you to deal with, too many potential gunfights to take. You can be overwhelmed very, very quickly. But this being Kitchen and Dining, DPlus Kia will have to focus on the top floor first and foremost. One tool to do it with will be that Brava, of course, will take down the F-Nauts and maybe the Valcams as well, but Dan might just take down someone going to this spawn peak. Both players involved in this potential engagement have an idea. Dan instead will back off just as Soldier moves off the angle.
Always worrisome for both parties in a situation like that. Rainbow Six players' first instinct is to shoot a window as soon as you see a hole in it, right?
Gotta do it.
Yeah, you never really know if somebody's going to be there or not, so might as well risk it, especially when you're outside. Not like you're giving over info all that much. So, yeah, on the Brava here. A lot of different things to try and steal here, especially the Valkyrie cameras. Also can try and rob away some of those knots, as well as a few of these goo mines if you can end up finding them. Solid additions here by DPlus Kia. Really like the Yana coming back in, and some solid gun power here across the board.
How will it work? Woogieman, this is such a long angle. Common one to hold the bathroom side. The downside, of course, not being directly on the window is you can only watch anybody playing Owl. You can't watch the other side, but you're far less exposed to a potential gunfight break from a window, say over by Library side. There is one player from Virtus.pro still standing in this position. Joystick also playing next to him, but inside a master bedroom. Worrying about the bedroom window player. But half the round gone. DPlus Kia haven't even entered the building, I think. Just waiting for these rotations from VP, waiting for the utility to fly out. Joystick still playing very passively in the bedroom as Woogieman's first of 2 Dokkaebi calls have flown through. Coded will be the one to try to clear Joystick out from the bedroom position. Flashes again. So much utility expended. Finally, it bears fruit. Joystick cut down, and Yas also taking control from the other side.
First Pro going to respond in kind, though, with this Nitro Cells. Pasha will take down Coded. Trying to play things from this downward position as much as possible, and well met, at least for now. Back to the drone work here for DPlus Kia. 45 seconds remaining, and Virtus Pro are keeping this play wide, especially for Always' sake. He's going to be dedicating himself over towards Fireplace Stairs. And honestly, solid area to be able to hold on to if you can muster it, especially for these late game rounds. When that timer dwindles, the more and more these moments are going to make the most. Always also going to head a rotation downstairs. Might actually come over towards West Hall here as DPlus Kia is building up on this side.
Building up, but it needs to be a solid foundation with how low time remaining. No mistakes can be made, no gaps can be left. Shepard creates one as he cuts down Woogie Man. Dan just sits in the smoke, domes the player hopping in a trophy window, and there's not even time to get this bomb on the floor as Harper, with 4 seconds left and case in pocket, is still outside. 6-3 for VP. DPlus Kia need 3 in a row to bring this to overtime.
Poor DPlus Kia on that one. Those smokes thrown in by the Twitch up top actually gave Dan the perfect position to play from. Exactly. They jump in and they are legitimately fighting smoke. They have no idea where that guy is. There's just bullets flying out of random spots, and he's able to take down 2 big players trying to flood in from trophy. But at that moment in time, DPlus Kia didn't really have anything to be able to try and bowl over Virtus Pro on their defensive positions. They were able to battle back a lot of things, as well as just keep a lot of map control under their belt. I especially like the plays there from Always, just to keep things active on the roam, because they really didn't know what DPlus Kia's answer was going to be just yet. So, as per usual, Virtus Pro looking stellar.
And just one more round will send them up 2-1. Again, still a best of 1 for Virtus Pro, but they will be on the brink of promotion. Don't know who their opponent is, of course, just yet, but they'll be in a great spot whereas DPlus Kia. If they lose this in the next couple rounds, they'll move down the elimination best of 3s. Position they found themselves in last time in Copenhagen, getting 1 win, but then still being eliminated in the 1-3 spot. Virtus Pro, of course, also moving down 2-2. So just because they'll move to the promotion does not mean they're guaranteed to win it. But they'll at least be happy. They've got another shot at making the main stage that they missed just a few months ago. Masturbating Office is what could potentially be the final site defended by Virtus Pro on Chalet. Not a lot of changes, always on that Valk. Can still get aggressive on the roam like he's been trying to do. Dan, Joystick, great ops to hold down positions. Even if Joystick is not having the game he wants, as long as he can stay alive with those magnets, he's adding so much value to the defense.
Most definitely. A bit of different feel when it comes to your defensive players losing their lives early on, but as for Joystick's offensive set, somebody has to get in the building, right? It's usually going to be him, and like we were saying, Chalet is a lot of angle holding. That's why you see the stat lines that you do, although Pasha has been getting pretty aquatic himself and finding some really highlight moments. DPlus Kia, honestly trying to take a page out of Virtus Pro's book here, looking towards that Solarium side, but VP know a lot about what's about to happen here. You can see these angles building up towards Trophy Window, as well as some other things. Solarium Nitro out, but Yaz, and practically a mimic from what we saw in their interaction when the shoe was on the other foot. The Nitro Cell will land on deaf ears.
DPlus have so much pressure on this particular position. The nade's so easy to land for DPlus Kia. I gotta say, VP, a little bit of a problematic setup, but Dan at least trades it out, moving or taking down Coded down below inside of Trophy. But you lose Always on that spot. But even if you do, I mean, half the round gone, as long as this player playing on the single wall, I believe that's Shepard on Legion, as long as he can hold down this fortress, hold down, stop the attack from moving too far into Solarium, losing Always won't matter as much. Another nade goes out from Yas. It's Joystick and Shepard in this position, facing the DPlus Kia attack that need to shut them out for this final minute.
They've already put Yas in here too. Honestly, they could go for more of a distracting measure and just keep Yas around this area and try and hit a rotation if they really want to, but obviously all up to them. In a 4 versus 4, there's a lot of things to consider, and I mean, as long as Woogie can play actively and Joystick's distracted, why not try and push things forward? Gonna be able to get that big kill, and Shepard might be a known quantity here too. They're gonna try and warm up the drones yet again, as they do have some time in order to do so. He'll hop this by, but it's really on to Shepard as well as this play here at the back end to try and solve this problem.
I think they missed Shepard, though. I mean, they might know it's a general position. They certainly know about Pasha, but the drone didn't spot him directly. It even spots the defender far behind him. That's Dan. he gets Woogie Man. Are they aware of the Legion? Are they going to be aware of this office? This could be the game right here with solo time remaining. If they've undroned Shepard just around the corner, they've got no idea. He's got about 2 seconds before he peaks. There we go. Just tied. Case is right next to you. He swings and falls.
He can't plant.
He can't plant because of the goo mine. You gotta love Legion's utility, even from the grave. Shepard, one goo mine in a dream, wins the Chalet 7-3 for Virtus.